Let's look at project planning with AI. We all know the benefits of AI: scaling, automation, efficiency savings, creative ideas, and the like. But are you using it to help you run your projects and your campaigns? Project planning with AI is a game changer when it comes to making a difference, running multiple programs or projects simultaneously, and actually coming up with new and innovative ways of doing what you've always done. Think of your AI, your ChatGPT or your Microsoft Copilot. Others obviously are available, but think of these as your project ideation tool. There's a lovely word there, ideation. Basically, your Copilot, your collaborator, your assistant as you create and coordinate and run your projects. There are many, many benefits and reasons for integrating the concept of AI and maybe some of your favorite AI tools into your projects. And we're going to go through those one by one as we go through this session. So the things that we're going to cover in this session are why AI projects need structured planning. So if you are using AI within the projects or campaigns that you do, why you need to plan them properly. It is very, very easy to become very carried away by the technology and the capabilities of some of these tools. So careful, structured planning is vital. We're going to look at how to define goals and align these with the customer journey, which tools to use and when within the customer journey and within certain elements of campaigns, getting those tools, those AI assistants and agents to work together to enable really, really effective returns on investment of the kind of projects that we're running. And also how to build your own beginner-friendly, I guess you could call it, AI marketing plan. So we're going to keep things very high level. We're going to go into some of the tools, but we're going to make this very kind of action-oriented because this is key. It's about getting started and exploring and experimenting with some of these tools. Now, why plan projects using AI? Why try and run your projects with the best AI tools? Well, one thing that we need to make sure we do is to avoid what you might call the shiny tool syndrome. So the ones that shout the loudest and say, hey, I can automate everything for you, and you don't even need to be involved. Clearly, that isn't the case, and we do need to continue with the human element within the usage of some of these AI tools. But it enables us to align AI's efforts with real marketing objectives if we plan this stuff correctly. What we need to also do is to ensure buy-in from others, be these people, colleagues in sales, in marketing, in operations, maybe brand custodians, whoever this is, they also need to buy in. So we are looking at a true collaborative effort here. So this isn't just for you alone working in isolation. This is about using tools to collaborate and co-create within those tools, so with your AI assistants, but also with the humans that are also involved in the processes and the systems that you have. Another amazing benefit of using AI, if you haven't already, is the ability to measure the impact and adapt effectively. Some of the tools that we'll see and some of the tools that you may already be using enable you to do real-time adaptation based on how the project or the campaign is actually running in real time. So these automatic adjustments continuously enable you to just get better and better and more efficient, not just at the end of the project when you look back and see how it went, but actually during the project as well. And that obviously going forward is going to give us major competitive advantage, just enabling that ROI to improve always. And also planning gives purpose to innovation. So as we start to do this, what we're looking at here as part of the process is something that you could call continuous improvement. And AI within our projects enables us to do that. So there really is this kind of idea of growing together as a team of humans, but also growing together with the AI tools, because as we're learning and developing and evolving, so are they in cooperation and in collaboration with us. So, where can you start to use AI in a marketing project or campaign? Well, common starting points for most marketers have been typically content creation. So, copy creation, video ideas, your latest imagery, all those kinds of things. For many of us, that's where we started. We started maybe months and months ago to begin to play with ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini and actually start creating content. That's where most of us began our journey of using AI. But now we can use it to schedule our campaigns. We can use it to personalize emails. We can use it to evolve from basic analytics and reporting into something a lot more sophisticated and a lot more useful. So, what we need to do as we begin to plan how we're going to use our AIs within our projects is to focus on where AI can save you time and or improve outcomes. So if you think a little moment, just for a moment, about where you're using AI or potentially where you could use AI to relieve a bottleneck, if you like, in a process, or to unblock a challenge that you've got on maybe your website with particular page design or with the style of copy or content that you're producing. All of these little nuanced moments in time in the customer journey, if you can find problem areas, if you can find areas where you're challenged and you can't kind of figure out quite how to improve something or to remedy something, then this is where AI can step in and help you. Hugely, hugely powerful. But let's just for a moment take a step back. Let's start to kind of get some shape around this idea of project planning with AI. And here's a little framework for you to begin to think your way through. It's a very simple five-step structure, but it will enable you to, in whatever kind of project you're looking to embed AI and add your tools in, this will enable you to do things in the kind of almost correct order, rather than just jumping and getting lost and swamped by the AI's capabilities. You can do this in a really considered and controlled way. So there are 5 steps to this little simple structure. First one is objective. State, what are we trying to achieve? Now, you might think, well, that's really obvious, isn't it? But so few people do this. So few people actually put this as a statement for why we're doing this project. And the answer cannot be or should not be because we've always done it like this or because we always send this out at this point in the month. That's not the correct answer. The point is, what are we trying to achieve? It could be betterment of something we do, but it could be something completely new. Set an objective. Customer stage. Where does this activity or this project fit within the customer journey? It's as a marketer or as a business developer, content creator, whatever role you're in, it's vital to think about where does this activity that I'm doing fit best or most appropriately or give most value in the customer journey. Awareness stage, conversion stage, or retention stage, because the use and the choice of AI tools could be very different at each of those stages. The content, the approach that you take will be very different at each of those stages. So knowing which stage of the journey you're focused on for this project is vital. Tool selection is step 3 in our 5-step simple structure. Which AI platform or app or combination of AI platforms, apps, or tools are you going to use? We'll come on to some options that you have available to you in just a moment, but the tool selection is point 3. It isn't the first, it's not the starting point. And maybe your favorite one, be it ChatGPT or whatever, maybe that's not the most appropriate one for this specialist approach that you're taking here. Maybe there's other tools for the job that could do things faster, better, more effectively. Tool selection is obviously a key stage at step 3. Step 4 is execution. How will we implement this AI tool or set of tools within our project at this stage in the customer's journey to achieve this objective? Setting your targets of how will we implement this project is key. And again, you could still be at this stage in your journey talking high level. You don't have to get down into the detail, but just deciding, and particularly if you're collaborating with others, this is a great way of just setting the scene out and starting to develop some of the roles that both the people and the AIs will have in this process. So you're getting a little sense of control here at this very, very early stage, even with a 5-step simple structure like this. And step 5 is measurement. What does success look like? Not necessarily at this stage, what are we going to measure and how are we going to measure it, but just what do we mean by success? Is it that we're just going to achieve that objective at step 1, or does success take us into a different arena? Will we look or feel differently as a result of running this project? What does success look like? And being very clear with some of those answers is a great way of beginning to shape up a project framework that allows you then to make the right decisions about which tools are appropriate to use from an AI perspective. So let's kind of build these out then. So step 1, defining your objective is key as you go into begin to build your project. Obviously, you're going to use SMART goals. I mean, we all know SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And don't miss any of those 5 moments in your SMART goal setting. It has to be specific. It has to be measurable. And of course, that is the benefit of using AI, because once you do that and you are measuring, AI can then give you some incredible insights and evaluation at the end of this journey. Has to be achievable and relevant. Obviously, you want to play this back against wider marketing or business targets that you have, and keep it time bound. I am a huge believer in doing something small, getting it right, learning, and then scaling. Don't set your time limits as, oh, we can do this over a period of X number of months. No, keep it really, really tight. I mean, a simple example could be something like increasing Instagram engagement by 20% using AI generated content within 3 months. So you've got a 12-week period there to use AI generated content, continuously learning to increase engagement by 20% over where you are today. So a smart objective that really hones in on what you are trying to achieve, doesn't actually set the target too high, doesn't include loads of other stuff, because of course you could include loads of other stuff, but then things get confusing. AI loves it when you're really precise, when you're really focused, laser focused. Project planning is key with AI, because then you'll get the best results out of your AI. It is as simple as that. This is nothing different to managing a team within a project, but AI kind of puts it onto a new level in terms of scale, but it still needs to be focused. Step 2, aligning to the customer journey. Now, I've kind of hinted at this as being a really important one. And so I will pose the question here as we dive to the next level is, where will AI have the most impact in your customer journey? And maybe actually, as you're listening to this, you start to think about, maybe have a little moment of reflection. Maybe if you're watching this on catch up rather than live here right now, maybe if you stop by and just kind of press pause and think, okay, where can we actually use AI within our current customer journey to have the most impact? Where are we not seeing scale? Where are we not seeing huge amounts of engagement? Where are we seeing people drop off of the journey just before converting and becoming a customer? Where are we not seeing repeat business from existing customers? You know, where are those key pain points? Because AI may well have the most impact where you see the most pain. It is something that's there to help. It gives you huge amounts of opportunities. So maybe just posing that question and reflecting is a really good way of building your first project plan with AI. At the awareness stage, you might want to have AI helping you with SEO or with content. At the consideration stage, so a little bit deeper into the journey, it could be creating and helping you with email journeys, or maybe a chatbot Q&A as the customer kind of inquires and goes a little bit deeper into consideration of your products and services. It could be at the decision stage, that conversion point where maybe AI offers up some personalized offers. Maybe that's where AI can have the most impact. Or it could be later in the journey when the person has already converted. So you're looking to retain them. It could be sentiment tracking. How is your customer now feeling? It could be about loyalty analysis, looking back and seeing how many engagements you have from existing customers and why, and doing that deep dive analysis of, can we improve on this? Can we make it better? Can we get more behaving in this loyal way? So AI can have an impact at all these stages of the journey. But if you can map your AI use to real marketing moments rather than just, hey, we're going to create some content and that content sounds good, I'm using AI, which is where most marketers are today, let's be honest, and actually thinking more deeply about where you can map your AI tool usage to real marketing moments, then you're starting to really raise the bar in terms of value. That gets exciting. And once you've done that, then you're probably in a good position to be able to choose the right tool. So step 3 is choosing the right tool and asking yourself, what is the task that I want the AI tool to do? And kind of what's the budget here? And do I need automation, content, or analytics? What do I really want at this stage of the process, at this stage of my project, at this stage of rolling out the right kind of assistance and help? And it probably isn't getting your AI to try and do everything. It's probably honing in on a specialist area. So we would have example tools that are going to be probably best in class right now for particular things you want them to do. So ChatGPT, for example, for creating content, MailChimp AI, maybe for helping you with your email journeys or projects, HubSpot AI for some CRM or workflows, and Looker maybe for some branding or visual creation. There are many, countless many more AI tools in each of those examples. But trying to figure out what I actually need and what the ideal outcome is enables you to begin to choose the right tool for the job. You wouldn't go to a toolbox and bring out a screwdriver if you needed to knock a hammer or needed to knock a nail in, for example. You choose a hammer and vice versa. So the same is true when you're choosing the right AI tools. So let's go into a few of these in a little bit more detail to kind of give you almost a checklist of where to begin. You may already have your own favorites, and if you do, then great, keep using those. But if you're looking to explore more, or if you're early in your journey of project planning with AI, then maybe consider some of these. These are some ideas of things that might help you. ChatGPT, for example, a tool for accelerating content delivery. I mean, when you could use this, it's ideal for the execution phase of content-based marketing projects. When projects include content creation or emails, blogs, ad copy, tools like ChatGPT can really help to speed up the ideation of the kind of content you want and help you with the first draft too. So it can generate blog outlines or social posts or add headlines. It's going to save you hours in the early stage of content development. Literally, it can turn things that would normally take you as a human hours to write into literally seconds. It'll maintain the tone of voice with the correct prompt training, but it is at a draft level. Never accept the first draft. Always challenge, always go back, and always make sure that ChatGPT is working hard for you to hone and fine tune so you get to a point where your content outputs are at the optimum level. So it is absolutely on brand. It's as good as it can be to stimulate your target audience into action. So that can be a really good one. If you need an AI-powered project hub that kind of brings together your project planning way beyond just pure content, then Notion AI is worth a look. It assists you in building maybe smart timelines or tracking actions and summarizing the data all in one place. It's really useful for organizing projects, particularly if you've got, as we were talking about before, multiple contributors, be they AI or humans, and also for tracking deadlines. It features and will auto-generate meeting summaries and task lists, helps you to plan content calendars, and maybe if you're doing campaigns, some campaign phases, and it'll centralize the collaboration and feedback. So a great tool if you want to go deeper into actually running projects and programs. That one can be really useful. Another more practical kind of execution focused one is MailChimp's AI. Most of us, or many of us, use MailChimp, and others obviously are available, but MailChimp is one of the go-to email platforms, and you can run smarter email campaigns now with MailChimp's AI, reducing the time to create your campaigns and improving performance within email-based projects. You can use it to basically its inbuilt features, which are AI, to help craft even more appropriate subject lines, to schedule sends at the best possible time, and to personalize content automatically. It will predict the best send times based on audience profiling and past performance of campaigns. It'll automate journey flows. So not just for outbound newsletters, for example, but actually automating a journey flow at the right kind of time. So tracking in email inside your customer journeys. And because it's AI powered segmentation and personalization, it ticks all the boxes that we're looking for as marketers right now, if email is part of your project. If you want to do some kind of automation here with the kinds of things that we are talking about, then tools like Trello and Butler AI working together can be an incredibly powerful way of supporting the structure of your project and saving time in managing particularly task-heavy campaigns, where normally there'll be a lot of human interaction and accountability and time and resource spent to run the actual campaign. So Trello, for example, is a visual project board tool, and Butler AI automates repetitive actions like moving cards and setting reminders. So it can create project stages, to do, in progress, and done, for example, and really help you to manage the project flow. So if you've got a project that includes lots of people, lots of AIs, and lots of activity, maybe thinking about workflow automation and playing with some of these tools to work and sort of action alongside you can be a great way of increasing your productivity and flow within the project yourself. And people will then start to look at you and say, how do you get so much done? I wouldn't be able to run a project this big in the way that you do. But of course, it's because you've got your little friends, your little assistants around you helping you to do it. So for this more complex project management style, you can also use visual databases. So something like Airtable and AI extensions can help you combine the flexibility of a spreadsheet, for example, with the structure of a database. And this is ideal when you want to track multiple content pieces, assets, or timelines. So the next level on, beyond a typical Trello card approach. It'll enable you to organize multiple marketing assets with AI generated tags. So using GPT-powered fields, for example, to summarize inputs or creative briefs. And then, really importantly, because these are visual databases, building dashboards to show campaign progress and content status. Now, of course, this isn't just about the upfront content creation, but the management and the flow of that content creation through the project, all the way through to these interactive and potentially even real-time dashboards showing how the project is progressing. For both for the team, but also for the sponsors of your project, or maybe your management team at a higher level again. So these are really, really powerful ways of actually keeping and maintaining ownership of the project. Really, really important. And of course, if you are looking to continually do this and grow this out, so not just with one project, but with multiple projects, then knowing that this isn't kind of inhibiting the quality of the output is going to be really important because, yeah, of course, AI can help you do stuff at scale, but controlling the quality at scale is important. And this is where a tool like maybe Grammarly Go can help you to maintain the quality of the final outputs at each stage, meeting your professional standards and your brand guidelines or AI guidelines at the same time as maintaining that, especially when you're working under pressure. So even the best projects can fail if content quality slips. So you might get the best workflows, but because you're not monitoring the actual quality of the output, then, the thing doesn't actually, produce the outputs that are delivering the results. So you've got a lovely structure and a lovely project or program running, but actually the final outputs are kind of a little bit weak because you took your eye off the ball. Grammarly Go enables you as a writing assistant to maintain quality across all of the outputs. It'll do real-time rewriting suggestions, it'll maintain brand and tone of voice control, and it'll do bulk content refinement across all the channels that you select. So hugely powerful to kind of tap this into the mix and the flow of the content and the flow of the project that you're running. And once you've done all of those things, obviously, you want to go deeper into the insights and the analysis and the evaluation to make sure that you are reporting that value that this amazing project has been promising. And so you're going to probably be, if you're anything web-based, you're probably going to be using GA4 from Google Analytics, of course. And of course, the AI insights there, we're finding that you can actually use insights to refine future projects based on AI-led data learning. And of course, Google has a suite of projects and products within Google Analytics that will enable that, or you bring out as a report into the data analyst tool in ChatGPT, for example, and then you can identify audience segments most likely to convert. You can spot performance anomalies automatically. You can generate automated reports on the campaign success or otherwise. It's all about turning information into intelligence, supporting with AI the measurement stage of your project so that you can continuously learn with honest, based evidence. That's the key. This isn't making it up. This isn't making it look good. This is actually the truth around how well you've done as a team and as a group of AI assistants working with you. So it's exciting. Many, many tools available to help you in this journey. And so I'd encourage you to kind of go deep into some of those, have a look, see which ones fit for whatever task and target you have. And step four then is to begin the execution. You've got the tools, you've got your target, you know where in the journey you're setting your sights on your project. So execution then is all. We actually have to take this into the project and make it happen. You've got your team, virtual or otherwise, human, maybe if you need to, around you. So test it yourself. Test the project first. Set up a pilot project maybe. Collaborate with the team. Roll it out for a short period. We're talking piloting here. We're not talking full rollout. Many of the very, very best projects that you will ever see were spawned out of a test or pilot scheme. So they didn't go from zero to fully loaded and from zero to live in one jump. They piloted first. So if you do that, you can monitor and collect the results. You can start small, stay agile, and learn before you go live. The best project or program managers are the ones who have done a test rollout before they do the live launch of something, because then you're kind of doing it in private. You're sort of doing it behind the scenes, and you can iron out any big challenges or blockers or things that you want to improve before you go live. Most people, under pressure of time and everything, miss this step. This is not the time to be missing this step, because you can accelerate once you know what's worked. So by the end of the project, you've actually still hit the deadline, but you've hit it in the right way. So taking your time at the start is absolutely key at step 4. And then once you've rolled out and you've executed with the live project, step 5 is measuring what matters most. Remember, in our 5 simple steps to effective project planning with AI, we're focusing in on where things matter most. So choose relevant metrics for your goals. Again, if you're using something like ChatGPT, briefing it early in what really matters will keep it focused on those key performance indicators. Maybe something like engagement, the likes, the opens, the click-through rates. Maybe it's time saved, so hours freed up by the automation from these tools. Maybe it's things like leads generated or conversions if you're in a commercial environment. Those things will be key and relevant metrics. Maybe it's quality improvements, your brand tone, grammar, the style of engagement through your content. And so you can use tools like Google Analytics, your built-in dashboards, or even Excel, because of course Excel now is embedded within and has Copilot in it. So you can still be using AI in most of these tools now to go deeper into what happened of those things that you're measuring that matter most. So this isn't about just paying lip service to these things. It's about saying, okay, it's here now. It's really important. And this is where I need to focus because ROI is all. So our AI project template now, as you can see, is really quite simple. So if we're putting this out together, either to get some budget, be able to commit to some of this stuff, if it's a campaign, or maybe to get some resource, you want to put a little project outline together. Here's a very, very simple little template for getting that support, getting that resource. And even if you're doing this for yourself to help you prioritize what's going, this is a good order of play. And I'm seeing this play out personally with client work at the moment. This stuff works well. So project title, marketing objective, the customer journey stage. Remember, we've talked about that one. That's vital. The AI tools chosen, that narrows things down and gives people confidence that you've got this. The action plan, obviously including steps and timing and possibly a resource allocation and requirement there. And then the metrics for success, which then come back full steam ahead when it goes to the marketing objective that you've set at the outset there. So people can see that you've got this in a structure, you've understood the resource capacity there, but you've embedded, because we're here to talk about AI tools, you've embedded the right tools for the right reasons. You're not just falling back on the one that your IT team say, oh, this is the one we should be using. You're actually doing it for commercial success and return. So you've clearly thought through the right tools for the right job. And that, I think, is a bit of a theme here, isn't it? As we've been talking all the way through this, it is about having the right tools in the right place for the right job. Remember, I said about having specialist tools, not just your go-to favorite AI. It's about having specialist tools to deliver the value that you're looking for. Because, of course, some of the common pitfalls to avoid are using AI with no clear purpose, having the wrong tool in place, or just generically trying this stuff and then thinking, oh, it didn't really work. It wasn't that it didn't really work, it was that you didn't really plan it right, or you could have made it work, but you didn't. So don't fall into that trap. Expecting it to just work without guidance or without careful prompting, AI is only as good as the prompts you put in. It is genius. It is super intelligent. It is very capable. It has all the capacity to do everything you want. The fact that it doesn't is not its fault. It's your accountability. Take responsibility for the prompting and the guidance, because if you get it right, it will work. I can promise you it will work. So don't always accept that first answer. Make sure you go deeper than that. Ignoring data privacy or ethical use, of course, you want to make sure this is absolutely in line with any kind of guidelines that you have or regulations, depending on which industry you're in. So all of the normal rules of marketing success apply here. Just because you're using AI does not mean that you should forget all of the good practice that you've grown up with. That is absolutely key, and it still applies here. So regulation and legislation applies. Another common pitfall is failing to measure results, actually just thinking that the use of AI stops at the content creation level, and actually then the rest falls back into how we've always done it. So that is a pitfall that you could fall into. So make sure AI is embedded at the measurement stage as well, so it takes it all the way through to the end of your project. And treating AI as a tool, not a magic solution. It is only as good as the way that you use it. It is not there. We don't yet have general artificial intelligence that can actually just be briefed once and then run the whole project without you being part of it. It is there as a tool, and that is the practical way of using it. It's a very, very clever, very, very useful asset, but it is not a magic solves all solution. You still have to treat it as a member of your project team, and you have to plan it in appropriately, as we've been describing here. So where could you start? A couple more kind of points for you as we kind of come to the close of this project planning with AI. What are realistic starter projects? Well, you could repurpose old blog content using AI. You could create a chatbot for answering frequently asked questions. You could test subject lines using AI tools. You could analyze audience sentiment in comments. You could use AI to improve rather than replace your creativity. There are multiple places, but can you see from these little examples, we're not necessarily talking about using AI yet, unless you've done this a number of times or you've already done all of these things, not necessarily using them in your headline, big lead kind of projects and creative campaigns. We're starting small. We're doing this and running a project with a lowercase p to get used to this structure and this framework, to get used to carefully selecting the right tools for the job that we need. So some of these things are very small. They're quite lightweight marketing activities, but they're a great place to start to learn how to project plan with AI. So I would always recommend that that's where you begin as a starter project. I mean, if you are a very experienced project manager, some of you listening will be. So if you are, then it's about knowing your existing project structures and processes, and then jumping straight to the where does AI help me to uncover the gains or the blockages or the challenges that I often face. But for most of us in marketing, we want to start here, something that's practical that we know how to do, and start to tease out this project structure and this new framework of thinking in that way. So to summarize and to give you some next steps where and what you should do very next from here onwards is understand how AI fits into your project planning. Think about your projects from the smallest to the very largest. Think about your campaigns and where AI could fit into those journeys. Use the 5-step model to shape your next campaign. Even if you have a campaign process, maybe just for once, use this as a project structure and see how it feels, see how that makes a difference or otherwise. You might decide to go back to your existing process. I'm not here to say it's wrong, it's broken, but this is a way and a proven process for getting AI embedded. So maybe have a little exploration. And that's why I'm saying test a simple test project this month and start small. And finally, track the results and share what you learn. People will really benefit. Your colleagues, the person sat next to you, your team, your wider organization will really benefit from understanding the work that you're doing here, because this doesn't just apply to marketing. This is something which can have commercial value right across the organization. And this is how you project plan with AI.